If you're between 55 and 85 and still doing these 5 things every single day, you need to hear this, because what I'm about to tell you could literally add years to your life. And I'm not exaggerating here, because these habits that seem completely harmless and that millions of Americans do without thinking twice are silently stealing your health and shortening your lifespan. And the worst part is that most people have no idea they're doing anything wrong until it's too late, and their body starts breaking down in ways that could have been completely prevented. My name is Dr. Rebecca Parker, and I've worked as a physician for over 20 years, and today I focus specifically on senior health. And in all these years, I've seen the same patterns repeat over and over again in my patients, and it breaks my heart. Because these are good people who worked hard their whole lives, raised families, served their communities, and now in their golden years, they're suffering from completely preventable health problems, simply because nobody ever told them the truth about these 5 common habits. And today I'm going to change that, because you deserve to know what's really happening inside your body. And more importantly, you deserve to live your best life at any age. You're not alone in this, and if you've been doing any of these 5 habits for years or even decades, don't panic, because the human body has an incredible ability to heal and recover, even after years of damage. And I've seen it happen hundreds of times in my own practice, where patients in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s completely turned their health around once they understood what was holding them back, and made some simple but powerful changes. And that's exactly what we're going to do today, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what these 5 dangerous habits are, why they're so harmful to your body, especially as we age, and most importantly, what you can do starting today to reverse the damage and add healthy, vibrant years to your life. Now, before we dive into these 5 habits, I want you to understand something really important. And this is something they don't teach in medical school, but I learned it after 2 decades of working with seniors. And it's this: after age 55, your body doesn't work the same way it did when you were 30 or 40. And I'm not saying this to scare you or make you feel old, but rather to help you understand that the rules have changed. And what your body could tolerate when you were younger can now cause serious damage, because your metabolism slows down, your organs don't filter toxins as efficiently, your bones become more fragile, your muscles lose mass faster, your heart has to work harder, and your immune system isn't as strong as it used to be. Which means that habits that seemed perfectly fine in your 30s and 40s can now be slowly destroying your health in your 60s, 70s, and 80s. And this is exactly why so many Americans end up in nursing homes or dependent on medications or losing their independence when they could have stayed healthy and active well into their 80s and beyond. If this is resonating with you and you're starting to realize that maybe some of your daily habits need to change, hit that like button, because it helps other seniors across America find this life-saving information. And trust me, there are thousands of people just like you who need to hear this message today. So let's talk about the first dangerous habit. And this one is probably the most common one I see. And it's something that most Americans do every single morning without even thinking about it. And that habit is starting your day with coffee on an empty stomach. And I know what you're thinking, because I hear it all the time. Dr. Parker, what's wrong with coffee? I've been drinking it my whole life. And I get it, because coffee is part of American culture. It's what we do. We wake up, we brew that pot of coffee, and we feel like we can't function without it. But here's what's happening inside your body when you drink coffee first thing in the morning, especially on an empty stomach. Coffee is highly acidic, and when it hits your empty stomach, it triggers your body to produce even more stomach acid, which over time damages the protective lining of your stomach and intestines, and this leads to gastritis, ulcers, acid reflux. And what's even worse is that coffee on an empty stomach spikes your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, and chronically elevated cortisol wreaks havoc on your entire body, especially as you age, because it raises your blood pressure, increases inflammation throughout your body, which is linked to heart disease. Alzheimer's and arthritis disrupts your blood sugar levels, which can lead straight to diabetes and weakens your bones, making you more vulnerable to those devastating falls and fractures that we seniors worry about. But that's not all, because coffee is also a powerful diuretic, which means it makes you urinate more frequently. And when you're already starting your day dehydrated because you haven't had water in 8 hours that morning, coffee is making it even worse. And dehydration in seniors is no joke, because it affects your kidney function, your blood pressure, your cognitive abilities, and even your balance, which increases your risk of falling. And according to recent studies, dehydration is one of the leading causes of hospital admissions among seniors in America. And many of these cases could have been prevented with simple changes to morning habits. Now, I'm not saying you have to give up coffee completely, because I know that's asking a lot. And honestly, a cup of coffee can have some health benefits when consumed properly. But what I am saying is that you need to change when and how you drink it. And here's what I recommend to all my patients. First thing in the morning, when you wake up, drink a full glass of water. Room temperature or warm water is best, because cold water can be a shock to your system. And this rehydrates your body after the night, gives your kidneys the fluid they need to flush out toxins that accumulated overnight, and prepares your digestive system for the day ahead. Then wait at least 30 minutes and eat something substantial for breakfast. And I'm not talking about a donut or a muffin, but real food with protein-healthy fats and fiber like eggs, with whole wheat toast and avocado, or oatmeal with berries and nuts, or Greek yogurt with seeds and fruit. And only after you've hydrated and eaten should you have your coffee. And when you do have it, try to limit it to 1 or 2 cups and stop drinking coffee by noon, because caffeine stays in your system for 6 to 8 hours. And if you're drinking it in the afternoon or evening, it's disrupting your sleep, which brings us to another critical issue. But we'll get to that in a moment. The second dangerous habit that's shortening your life is something that might surprise you, because it's something that many seniors think is actually healthy. And that habit is spending too much time sitting, even if you exercise. And this is what researchers call active couch potato syndrome. And it's incredibly common, especially among retired Americans who might go for a walk in the morning, but then spend the rest of the day sitting watching TV, reading, or working on hobbies. And here's the shocking truth. Even if you exercise for 30 minutes a day, if you're sitting for the other 10 or 12 hours, you're still at high risk for heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and early death. Studies from the American Heart Association have shown that sitting for more than 6 hours a day increases your risk of dying early by 20% compared to people who sit for less than 3 hours. And for seniors, this is even more dangerous, because prolonged sitting causes your muscles to atrophy, which means they literally waste away and get weaker, especially the large muscles in your legs and core that you need for balance and mobility. And when these muscles get weak, you become more likely to fall. And we all know that falls are one of the leading causes of death and disability among American seniors. And once you fall and break a hip or a leg, your life changes forever and your independence is gone. But the dangers of sitting go way beyond your muscles, because when you sit for long periods, your blood flow slows down dramatically, and this causes blood to pool in your legs, which increases your risk of blood clots and deep vein thrombosis, which can travel to your lungs and cause a pulmonary embolism, which is often fatal. And sitting also causes your blood sugar and cholesterol levels to rise, because your muscles aren't using glucose for energy, and your metabolism slows down, which leads to weight gain, diabetes, and fatty deposits in your arteries that cause heart attacks and strokes. And here's something that really concerns me as a physician who works with seniors. Prolonged sitting has been linked to cognitive decline and dementia because reduced blood flow means less oxygen and nutrients reaching your brain. And over time, this contributes to brain shrinkage and memory problems and loss of cognitive function. And I've seen too many sharp, intelligent people in their 70s start to show signs of confusion and memory loss that could have been prevented if they had just moved more throughout the day. So what's the solution? You need to break up your sitting time every single hour. And I mean every hour you need to stand up and move for at least 2 to 3 minutes. And it doesn't have to be intense exercise. Just walk around your house, do some light stretching, march in place, do some simple movements while watching TV or talking on the phone. And if you're watching your favorite show, set a timer on your phone to remind you to get up during commercial breaks. And throughout the day, try to accumulate at least 2 to 3 hours of light movement, in addition to any formal exercise you do. And this could be gardening, cooking, puttering around the house, folding laundry, anything that keeps you on your feet and moving. And here's a simple protocol that I give to all my patients, and it's something you can start today. Every morning after breakfast, take a 10 to 15-minute walk around your neighborhood or even just around your house. If the weather is bad, and this gets your blood flowing, improves your mood, and sets a positive tone for the day. And then throughout the day, stand up and move for 2 to 3 minutes every hour. And you can do simple things like walk to the mailbox, water your plants, do some light stretching, march in place while watching TV, do some gentle movements, and in the evening after dinner, take another 10-minute walk because this helps with digestion, lowers your blood sugar, and improves your sleep quality. The third dangerous habit that's killing Americans over 55 is eating dinner too late and eating too much at dinner. And this is a huge problem in American culture because we tend to have our lightest meal at breakfast, skip lunch, or eat something quick, and then have our biggest, heaviest meal at dinner, often at 7 or 8 p.m. And then we sit on the couch for a couple hours watching TV before going to bed. And this pattern is absolutely devastating to your health, especially as you age. Here's why. When you eat a large, heavy meal late at night, your digestive system has to work incredibly hard at a time when your body is trying to wind down and prepare for sleep. And this causes several serious problems because first, it disrupts your sleep quality because your body is busy digesting food instead of repairing and regenerating cells, which is what it's supposed to do while you sleep. And poor sleep is linked to literally every major disease, including heart disease, diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, and depression. Second, eating late causes acid reflux and heartburn because when you lie down soon after eating, stomach acid can easily flow back up into your esophagus, causing that burning sensation. And over time, this can damage your esophagus and increase your risk of esophageal cancer, which has been rising dramatically in America over the past few decades. And third, eating a heavy meal at night causes your blood sugar to spike right before bed. And since you're not moving around to burn off that glucose, it gets stored as fat, particularly around your belly. And this abdominal fat is the most dangerous type because it releases inflammatory chemicals that increase your risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and even dementia. And here's something that most people don't realize. Your metabolism actually slows down in the evening because your body follows a natural circadian rhythm, and it's designed to digest food most efficiently in the morning and afternoon, not at night. So when you eat your biggest meal at dinner, your body struggles to process all those calories and nutrients, and much of it ends up being stored as fat rather than being used for energy. And this is why so many seniors struggle with weight gain even when they're not eating more calories than they used to. So what should you do instead? You need to flip your eating pattern and make breakfast your largest meal lunch, a moderate meal and dinner, your smallest, lightest meal. And ideally, you should finish eating at least 3 hours before bedtime. So if you go to bed at 10 p.m., you should finish dinner by 7 p.m. at the latest, and your dinner should be light and easy to digest, like grilled chicken or fish with steamed vegetables, or a simple soup with whole grain bread, or a salad with lean protein. And here's a simple dinner protocol that works wonderfully for seniors. Focus on lean protein, like chicken, turkey, fish, or eggs, because protein is essential for maintaining muscle mass as you age, and pair it with plenty of vegetables, either steamed, roasted, or in a salad, and add a small portion of whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, or whole wheat bread, and avoid heavy fatty foods, fried foods, rich sauces, and large portions of red meat, because these are hard to digest and sit in your stomach for hours. And also, limit your carbohydrates at dinner because you're not going to be active enough to burn them off before bed. Write in the comments, have you been eating late dinners? Have you noticed it affecting your sleep or your weight? Share your experience because your story could help someone else make this important change. The fourth dangerous habit, and this one is critical, is not drinking enough water throughout the day, and I cannot stress enough how important hydration is for seniors, because as we age, our sense of thirst actually decreases, which means you might be seriously dehydrated without even feeling thirsty. And this is incredibly dangerous because every single system in your body depends on adequate hydration to function properly. When you're dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker, which makes your heart work harder to pump it through your body. And this raises your blood pressure and increases your risk of heart attack and stroke. And your kidneys, which are responsible for filtering waste from your blood, can't do their job properly when you're dehydrated. And over time, this leads to kidney damage and kidney stones and chronic kidney disease, which affects millions of American seniors and often leads to dialysis. Dehydration also affects your brain function dramatically because your brain is about 75% water. And when you're even mildly dehydrated, your cognitive abilities decline, and you experience confusion, difficulty concentrating memory problems, and even mood changes like irritability and depression. And many seniors who are diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's are actually just chronically dehydrated, and their symptoms improve significantly once they start drinking enough water. And I've seen this happen in my own practice more times than I can count. And here's something really important. Dehydration makes you more likely to fall because it affects your balance and coordination, and your muscles don't function properly without adequate hydration, and they become weak and prone to cramping, especially those painful nighttime leg cramps that so many seniors experience. And dehydration also causes constipation, which is extremely common among older Americans and can lead to serious complications like bowel obstruction and hemorrhoids. So, how much water should you be drinking? The general recommendation is at least 8 glasses of water per day, which is about 64 ounces. But honestly, I recommend that my senior patients aim for even more, especially during those hot summer months, or if you live in dry climates like Arizona or Nevada, or if you're taking medications that have diuretic effects. And here's a simple way to know if you're drinking enough. Your urine should be pale yellow, almost clear, and if it's dark yellow or amber colored, you're dehydrated and need to drink more. Now I know some seniors avoid drinking water because they're worried about having to go to the bathroom frequently, especially at night. But here's what I tell my patients. Drink most of your water during the day between morning and early evening, and then taper off in the evening so you're not waking up multiple times at night. And also know that frequent urination is actually a sign that your kidneys are healthy and working properly. so don't see it as a problem, but rather as evidence that your body is functioning well. If you want access to exclusive content, recipes, and detailed hydration protocols, become a channel member, because there I share even deeper information about how to optimize your health at every stage of aging, and I provide personalized guidance that goes beyond what I can cover in these videos. And here's a practical hydration protocol that I recommend. Start your day with a full glass of water as soon as you wake up, even before that cup of coffee we talked about earlier, and keep a water bottle with you throughout the day and aim to drink a glass of water every 1 to 2 hours. And if plain water is boring to you, add a slice of lemon or lime or some fresh berries or cucumber, which adds flavor and extra nutrients. And also eat water-rich foods throughout the day, like watermelon, cucumbers, tomatoes, oranges, strawberries, and leafy greens, because these all contribute to your daily hydration needs. The fifth and final dangerous habit that's shortening your life is something that affects millions of Americans, and it's not getting enough quality sleep. And I'm not just talking about the number of hours you sleep, but the quality of that sleep, because you can be in bed for 8 hours. But if you're tossing and turning, waking up multiple times, having restless sleep, or not reaching deep sleep stages, then your body isn't getting the restoration it desperately needs. Sleep is when your body does its most important healing and repair work. And during deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, which repairs tissues, builds muscle mass, strengthens your immune system, and removes toxins from your brain, including the amyloid plaques that are associated with Alzheimer's disease. And without adequate deep sleep, these toxins accumulate in your brain, and over time, this contributes to cognitive decline, memory loss, and dementia. Poor sleep also disrupts your hormones in ways that are incredibly damaging to your health, because it increases cortisol, which, as we discussed earlier, causes inflammation and raises blood pressure, and it decreases leptin, which is the hormone that tells you you're full, and increases ghrelin, which is the hormone that makes you hungry. And this combination causes you to overeat and crave unhealthy foods, particularly sugar and carbohydrates. And this leads to weight gain, diabetes, and all the complications that come with those conditions. And here's something really alarming. Chronic poor sleep has been directly linked to increased risk of heart disease, stroke, cancer, diabetes, depression, and early death. And studies have shown that people who consistently sleep less than 6 hours per night have a 48% increased risk of dying from heart disease compared to people who get 7 to 8 hours. And for seniors, this is even more critical because your body's ability to recover from poor sleep diminishes with age. Now, there are many reasons why seniors struggle with sleep, and some of them are medical issues that need to be addressed with your doctor, like sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, or side effects from medications. But many sleep problems are caused by poor sleep habits that can be fixed with simple changes. And here's what I recommend. First, establish a consistent sleep schedule where you go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends, because your body thrives on routine, and this helps regulate your circadian rhythm.